Welcome back to Business Talk here on Business Tech, South Africa's #1 business news website. And as we're getting close to the end of the tax year, obviously all the talk has been about how we can outsmart the tax man a little. We're talking about our retirement annuities and tax-free savings accounts. And back with us today, we've got Mariska Comins in studio to answer some questions around the various retirement products out there. Mariska is the head of technical advisory services for PSG Distribution. Mariska, last time around, we spoke about the tax benefits of RAs and tax-free investment products. When we start thinking now about our retirement planning more broadly, there are obviously a few products available that we can use to maximize our retirement planning and the benefits we get from that kind of strategic approach. How does an RA compare to, say, a provident or a pension fund that many will get inside a company? And do investors need both here?
Hi, Michael. Thank you for having me, and it's good to be back. So with regards to pension and provident and retirement annuity, so pension fund and a provident fund generally is offered through an employer. So you'll have to be part of a group of companies, and you'll contribute monthly as a percentage of your salary. A retirement annuity is typically more for individuals. It's when you don't belong to a pension or provident fund, or even for members of pension and provident funds who wants to bump up their contributions to retirement funds. That is the product that you can opt for. Bearing in mind that both or all three products, so a provident pension and a retirement annuity, is governed by the Pension Funds Act. So you still have the same rules and similar characteristics, especially when it comes to your tax deductibility. So the same limits apply with a 17.5% capped at 350,000 annual limit with regards to contributions.
So given that limit, what are the consequences if you're in a position to contribute more than that, more than the 350,000 in terms of that annual limit to your RA? What do you do then?
So if you can contribute more than that, it's not a bad thing. What will happen is you call it disallowed contribution. So anything over and above the 350,000 limit will be a disallowed contribution, as I said, and that will roll over. So if you do not contribute the full 350,000 the next financial year or the next tax year, you can offset it against taxable income. But if you do retire and you still have disallowed contributions, you can offset that against the lump sum portion if you are taking a lump sum portion, or even your income that you'll be earning from your retirement product once you've retired.
I think it's very useful to know. For someone like me, for example, I'm an independent contributor and a contractor to the various platforms that I'm on. And so I handle all of this myself. You sometimes have good years and look to put away a bit more in the good years, because there can also be lean years. COVID can happen and people stop advertising and that kind of thing. So always good to know that you can roll that over. Now, if we look at the tax-free savings account, I mean, the limits and consequences of exceeding the limits are somewhat different, aren't they?
Yes, definitely. So with your tax-free savings account, it's important to remember that it's very often a retirement annuity and a tax-free savings account is grouped together, but you don't have the tax relief with regards to your contributions. So you capped at 500,000 contribution in a lifetime, but it's limited to 36,000 per financial tax year. If you contribute more than the 36,000, you actually pay a penalty to South African Revenue Service of 40%. So let's say, for example, you're contributing 16,000 to a tax-free savings product with one provider, let's say Alan Gray, and you contribute 30,000 to another linked investment provider, let's say, for example, a Glacier, and you have now an excess of 10,000 in contributions, you will pay 40% on the 10,000 is the penalty that you'll pay. So you'll pay a 4,000 Rand penalty to SARS.
And I mean, that really starts negating any of those tax benefits up front. So you need to really follow those limits quite closely annually. Now, another important conversation that we've been having, and there was very interesting research from Standard Bank, one of their lead economists recently warning of the impacts of the brain drain and immigration. On the other hand, you've got SARS Commissioner Edward Keyswetter. He's trying to smooth things over. There was an article in the FM late last year where he was quoted as saying, no, it's not as bad as many think. I get the sense, and it's very unscientific, that many South Africans do have a plan B if they can and are potentially looking to immigrate. So what are the implications of financial immigration when it comes to having this RA here in South Africa or having a tax-free savings or investment product here in South Africa?
So the benefit with a tax-free savings account is that it's accessible at any time. So if you immigrate, you can access it. It's just important to remember that once you've made your withdrawals, that 500,000 is a limit in your lifetime. So you won't be able to replace those contributions if you perhaps decide not to continue with your financial immigration. With regards to retirement annuities, in March 2021, there were some changes to regulation. So your lump sum benefit will be payable when you cease to be a tax resident in South Africa, and very importantly, and you as a member of the retirement fund should not be a tax resident for an uninterrupted term of 3 years on or after 1 March 2021. So very important that only then you'll be able to access your retirement annuity funds.
Sadly, quite restrictive, and I know there has been a lot of pushback against that. So we'll have to see the budget coming up, which way we go on that, and what the philosophy is, what the thinking is inside Treasury and SARS is with regards to that. Now, I think a lot of people, and it's one of those human nature things. We value present consumption. We want the marshmallow now over being able to put off and resisting the marshmallow so we can have 2 in future over future consumption. So one would assume then that a tax-free savings account would be more attractive than an RA because you can dip in, you can make withdrawals. What would you say to someone with that sort of mindset?
So as I mentioned earlier, a retirement annuity and a tax-free savings account is very often grouped together, if I could call it that, but the characteristics are very different. So a tax-free savings account and a retirement annuity, what is very similar is that your growth in the product is not taxed. What is very different is that you as an investor should sit down and understand what you are saving for. If you're saving for a specific goal, pre-retirement, perhaps for a child's education, you might even make an investment in your child's name or your grandchild's name, then a tax-free savings is a good option. Bearing in mind, if you contribute the 36,000 per annual per tax year, then it takes you 13.9 years to actually reach that 500,000 contribution limit. So it's quite a nice tool to have when your child is about 16, probably standard 8, more or less there. You would have reached that limit, and it's very good to have that. But a retirement annuity, you do enjoy the tax benefit in terms of deducting your contributions from your income tax, and it cultivates discipline. You have to contribute to a minimum age 55, or not contribute, you can only access your funds at earliest age 55. But the new generation retirement annuities are very flexible, where you can actually stop contributions during your lifetime and start it again without penalties. But it's ultimately to ensure that you look after your retirement and that you will have a sustainable income during retirement. So I would definitely say it's always important to consult a financial advisor and understand and strike that balance to have both or a combination, or what to contribute to either product, but definitely good to have both.
Yeah, that's the way I've approached things as well, especially with my 2 daughters, and it's really interesting because that discipline that it inculcates, and rather than taking that money and splashing it out on something that you're probably going to regret buying anyway, versus that real satisfaction you get putting away for, in my case, my daughter's education in those tax-free products is just something that you can't actually put a price on. Anyway, I'm fortunate. I'm in a position where I can put some away. Many might say, well, I live hand to mouth, month to month. Inflation is increasing. It's all over the place. I think everyone's budget is under pressure at the moment. Is now the best time to invest for those individuals? What would you say to them?
So absolutely. I think it's always, even if you save a little bit, it's better than nothing. and to have it for a rainy day. I do believe that if you sit down and you do a detailed budget, you understand what you're spending on. For example, I've in this year decided that I won't be buying myself 2 coffees a week anymore. I'll only be buying 1 coffee a week, and that 40 rand that I save every week, I can contribute to something else, and I could even cut down on both coffees and contribute that to a tax-free savings account. So I think it's important to sit down and really understand what you spend your money on. But I also think with inflation that's on the rise, it's important to make sure that you make provision for income, that when you retire, but also that you have an advisor that you can talk to and understand, for example, your needs and objectives. If you go into retirement and you all through your lifetime you have driven a Mercedes, is it important for you to still continue to drive this Mercedes during your retirement and to probably purchase a new one every 5 to 6 years? Or will you be okay to buy a VW Polo, which is more affordable and it's a cheaper option, but it's as reliable? And I think those are the questions that you have to ask yourself, and those are the adjustments that you have to make. Probably same with vacations. You might not be able to go on an exclusive vacation every year, but every second year. And I think those are the adjustments we need to make during our lives.
Well, I'll certainly be rather downgrading the DSTV package before I give up my weekly coffees. Mariska Comins, thank you very much. Head Technical Advisory Services for PSG Distribution, for sharing such valuable advice on how we should all be thinking about structuring our savings and investments for retirement here on Business Talk on Business Tech. Take care.